Hello everybody, this is Darth Bryboy, and, well, I did see Star Wars on the big screen on Sunday at the Philadelphia Film Society in Center City. And the version they showed wasn't the version that I thought it was going to be. It was the 2019 Special Edition cut, also known as the McClunky cut. There's a lot of feelings I've had since seeing this on the big screen with one of my best friends. And the thoughts I have kind of show you how special the movie-going experience is when you have the right audience. I had this when I saw Interstellar on the big screen last week. Also, it was in IMAX when I saw it, so there was that to take into account. But sometimes the perfect audience can salvage what is the worst cut of a movie. And the 2020 McClunky cut of Star Wars is certainly that. Now, the thing is with this cut, this is the worst cut of Star Wars. The changes that are in here, if I were watching this movie at home, certainly would have made me go, alright, I'm done. I've given this cut a chance, and I can't. I've said time and time again, the versions of the special editions I can tolerate, mainly out of nostalgia for these versions of the special editions of Star Wars. 97 cut, 2004 cut. Blu-ray cut can jump off a cliff, and the 2020 cut, which is basically the same thing as the 2011 cut, can also jump off a cliff. But when I was watching this cut, and I was surrounded by the families and, you know, people who were a little older than me with their kids, and also being behind a little kid who was just mesmerized and taken aback and sucked into this film, I can safely say my fanboy rage, my film purist rage, my film preservationist rage or annoyance at the cut that was being shown on the big screen was basically non-existent. As Yoda said in Attack of the Clones, truly wonderful the mind of a child is. And it is truly wonderful to see a little one be sucked in by the movie-going experience. To be so enamored with it that they start talking to the screen and interacting with the screen, and it is the most adorable, precious thing in the world. And they're with their mom or aunt, and they're just so taken aback by this epic film, even though the cut that is being shown isn't the real version. I've said time and time again, the version I consider the real version. Got the Despecialized edition here, and I got 4K 77 here. Both of these will be my main way of watching Star Wars. This I thought was going to be my main way until the end of the time. Then I found this and went, fuck it, I'm picking it up. And I think I got really excited that this might be the version that was going to be shown at the Philly Film Society, because I looked at the title, they were just calling it Star Wars. I looked at the runtime, it was 121 minutes, or 2 hours and a minute long, same with this, and it said 4K. So I'm thinking, logically here, they're calling it Star Wars. They've got the original runtime listed, because if you're as pedantic as me, you'll know that the special edition runs 3 minutes longer. And I can already imagine my other best friend commenting and going, Jesus Christ, dude, are you serious? Why are you bitching so much about this and being this pedantic about what version of Star Wars you're seeing? It's because when I have kids of my own, I know what version I'm going to show them. It won't be this. It won't be through streaming. It won't be this 4K. It'll be one of these. It'll either be 4K 77 or it'll be the Despecialized editions. And the reason is simple. Both of those are the most authentic way to view this masterpiece of a film. I guess what I'm trying to get across in this video is my conflicted feelings about this experience. Maybe there is no conflict. There are so many unintentional Star Wars references that I'm saying here that I'm just going, seriously? It's got to be subconsciously, obviously, but whatever. When I saw Star Wars on the big screen, I was sucked in. I was mesmerized. Even the changes that really pissed me off and I hated didn't detract from the movie-going experience. Yes, I did like the magenta hue over the film. It made me feel nostalgic. Yes, it made me feel nostalgic to see the CG X-Wings that were coming across the big screen. Yes, I was still enamored and sucked in when the climax of blowing up the Death Star happened. My sense of suspense and wonder was just focused on this movie. And some of the changes, as I said, that annoyed the hell out of me, such as the redone Crate Dragon Yell, the rock in front of R2-D2. There are other changes that are really pointless, but I still had a blast watching it. And when the Crate Dragon Yell did come up, it was kind of embarrassing because I had to cover my mouth because I was laughing my ass off at the absurdity of it. And thankfully there were die-hard fans like myself where I could commiserate about the cut that was being shown on the big screen after the movie. One guy went, I was really hoping it wasn't the special edition, but it was the special edition. And then a guy took his girlfriend to see it, and I was talking with the two of them and commiserating with them. We were talking about the theatrical cuts, and the dude said, oh, I got them already. I got the DVD. And then I said, look, I got the DVDs myself. You should probably rip them just to be on the safe side. And me and my friend Vice Dragon, I'm not going to say his real name, I took him to see the movie with me, and we had a blast watching it, even though with the special edition. And we both were disappointed that it wasn't 4K 77 for one obvious reason. When I saw the attack on the Death Star and I saw those original models, I was blown away by the quality. I could see the detail in the models. I could see such vivid details in the model work. I could actually appreciate Star Wars truly for the first time unaltered with seeing the details in the model work, not some anti-aliasing, I can't say that fucking word, my apologies, that Harmy painstakingly put into trying to make junk footage look passable. And I'm not bashing the despecialized edition in any way, I'm just saying that 4K 77 is the superior fan restoration effort. But I guess back to this cut here. The movie-going experience is extremely magical when you're with the right audience, when you're with people who are die-hard fans like yourself, taking their children to see it. And maybe I have a bias here because little kids are adorable and it's impossible not to let your adult cynicism get thrown out that metaphorical window when you're sitting behind a little one, just sucked into the movie-going experience, sucked in to the wonders that are happening on the screen in front of them, and saying, come on, Luke, get out of there, come on, Luke, get out of there, come on, when Luke is dragged down by the Death Star trash monster. And it makes you feel like a kid again in that situation where you can just throw out your nitpicky, pedantic brain and just enjoy this masterpiece of a film, even if it's a masterpiece that is held back by a director's false need to perfect perfection. I'm glad I drove all the way to see this movie. I'm glad I was surrounded by die-hard fans like myself. I'm glad I got to sit and watch it with one of my best friends of almost 20 years and just be sucked in to this marvel of a film, despite of the changes that could have taken me out of the movie had I been watching it at home. I guess the question I had for myself when I recorded that video of thinking that it was going to be the unaltered cut that was going to be shown on the big screen, my love of Star Wars did outweigh my cynicism, my annoyance with the special edition cut, because I mean, I'm going to get a little personal here, but I've talked about it time and time again on the channel. I had a whole ostomy bag I had a whole stoma and ostomy thing last year. It was reversed in January of this year. Next month, on the 15th, will have been a year since the reversal surgery. And when I was able to actually get my life back on track. We're starting to. This year, 2024, for me personally, I don't want to talk about any world events that happened this year because within the world it's not been a great year, but within my personal life, even with some tragedies, in terms of me being a Star Wars fan, it has been a wonderful fucking year. I got to meet Ashley Eckstein again, who played Ahsoka Tano. I got to meet James Arnold Taylor. I got to meet Matt Lanter. I got to meet D. Bradley Baker. I got to meet Grey Delisle. I got to meet Hayden Christensen and have him sign something. And I got to tell him the story I'm telling you now. I got to see these two motherfuckers on the big screen in the same year. I got to see Phantom Menace and A New Hope on the big screen. Phantom Menace I saw on my own and I had a blast. I mean, there is something also magical about being the only guy in a movie theater. I mean, you get to cheer, you get to enjoy the big screen, you get to not worry about etiquette or bothering anybody because you're by yourself in the damn theater. And I had a blast, and that video is probably in the link in the description. And I had a blast watching this. Yes, I had a blast watching the 2019 McClunky cut of Star Wars. Because I was surrounded by a wonderful audience. I was surrounded by one generation passing on the joy and wonder of seeing this movie to their children. I got to see one of my favorite movies of all time and be a spectator of generational passing of the torch, showing their children something that means and has meant so much to them. There is something so beautiful about seeing that. About hearing a child in a movie theater just be mesmerized by what's being shown to them on this big screen. Sitting in a movie theater. I guess my question was answered. Did my love of Star Wars outweigh my cynicism? Oh yeah. It did. While I was disappointed that the cut they showed wasn't 4K 77, I still got to see that cut with my best friend, one of my best friends, down here. And that was awesome. And I did talk to some of the people at the Philly Film Society after the movie, where I was going, man, I was hoping it would be the theatrical cut, it was a special edition. And as I said, it was kind of fun just commiserating with other hardcore fans like myself. Even before the movie started, I got to shoot the shit with some guys that went, well, if we know it's the special edition, we can all collectively quietly go, fuck! We'll know by the Fox logo and the Lucasfilm logo which version we'll be seeing. And I was talking to someone at the concession stand, you know, asking them, hey, did you see it? And my heart did kind of sink when I said, oh, it must have been amazing being able to see those unaltered effects on the big screen. I'm so looking forward to it. And she said, well, I think it was the bastardized CG version because I did see some differing effects. And then I was going, well, that's kind of a letdown, but I'm here. I'm with my bro. I've been looking forward to this almost since the beginning of the month. So, fuck it. I'm here, let's enjoy this bitch. And I did. I certainly did. Just because I had a blast watching, and just because I had a blast watching this version on the big screen, in spite of the dumbass changes, doesn't take away from any points I've made in previous videos talking about the importance of the unaltered versions of 4, 5, and 6. And while we won't ever have an officially licensed version of the unaltered cuts, I am so thankful for the Star Wars fandom and to the Star Wars fandom for preserving movie history. And just to go back to the subject at hand of what version that was being showed, I talked to a guy who was working there, and people kept asking me, which version are you showing? And he said, well, whatever version Disney gives us, man. And I went, well, if you probably showed the unaltered cut, you would have gotten sued. And I knew in the back of my head it was a long shot, but I just got so hopeful when I looked at the runtime. Like, look, you can see it in the screenshot. I got so hopeful by it being called Star Wars and it being the 2 hour and 1 minute runtime instead of the 2 hour and 3 minute runtime of this particular version. And I just got so hopeful, and well, still had a blast watching it. And that's all that mattered. When you're watching one of your favorite movies on the big screen, it doesn't matter what cut of the movie is being shown. What is important is it is that movie that you've grown to love over the years. That is a comfort film. It's a film you can always go back to. I'm grateful in my lifetime I was able to see Toy Story 1 and Star Wars A New Hope on the big screen. Even if both cuts weren't my preferred way of viewing those movies. But hey, that's the magic of the big screen. It takes you to another world for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and that's the beauty of film. With that in mind, live long and prosper. Thank you for watching this video, and have a wonderful day.